It's been a while since I've done a discussion, so I thought I'd get back into it. I've had a lot of ups and downs lately. I go through bouts of not necessarily caring to be alive. It has nothing to do. Well, that would be a lie to say it has nothing to do with the external world, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't necessarily see myself with a purpose on this planet. Uh, as judgmental as it sounds, so many people are lost on this planet towards what we actually could be that I feel out of place. Um, I know that makes me sound that I think I'm better than other people, and that's not necessarily where it is. It might just be like I've said before. Actually, I don't know if I've said this before, but I think I have. It would be like Michael Jordan playing under his ability, right? Never actually, you know, Jordan was, yes, he probably practiced really hard and had a really big ethic towards his work and whatnot. Um, but he was also naturally gifted because there's so many people that could reproduce Michael Jordan's, you know, uh, workout schedule and training sessions. They could over time develop his instincts and whatnot. But they're never, or not instincts, but game like work ethic and game like ethics towards, I guess, doing things properly. I don't know what other way to say it, but they're never going to reach his level because they're not just genetically gifted like he was. And the thing is that it may be very, very, very possible that I'm just genetically gifted to see things differently. And a lot of me is sick and tired of that being presented as a negative thing. I can't prove any of the things that I talk about, which sucks. I can only feel them. And I can only hold them into me of what I know and what I understand of this planet. And the thing is that these things come to me without me having to look them up. I get I get reconfirmation when I watch videos and people are talking about the same things I do. But for the most part, the information that comes to me comes through me. It doesn't come through a video or anything like that. Sometimes it comes through a movie, but what usually happens is information gets, downloaded into me and then I decode it myself and figure that out. So I'd say 90% of the information that I have within my brain and that I have access to, is just a natural instinct that I have to gain. It's something that I do well, and I should not be punished for what I do well. And it really pisses me off. And so when I look upon the world and I see people controlled and believing in that they need to be controlled to be free, it saddens me because I already know that the opposite is true. You do not need anyone at all, period, except for perhaps when you're growing up, and that is your parent who should be giving you guidance. Not discipline and control, but guidance. Saying, hey, look, if you do these things, these negative outputs will happen, and if you do these positive things, these positive outputs will happen. But people choose not to do that, and it's left me in a predicament. And I'm not saying that I'm a victim here. I could I wouldn't say easily flip the switch, but I could flip the switch and go along with the system. But the thing is that that's not going to help anyone. If I flip the switch and I just become a normal citizen on this planet in society, worships the government, not even just obeys the government, but worships the government like so many people do on this planet. If I were to just do that, I would lose 100% completely who I am. I would be dead inside. Because I am not here on this planet to fit in. I'm on this planet to disrupt things. And on Monday night, Monday, March, hold on. Monday, March the 2nd, 2015, I had a massive awakening of who I am supposed to be and what I am supposed to do on this planet. And it all starts off with my evening walk with my dog. Now, I walk my dog 3 times a day. Gets him exercise, it gets me out of the house, because for the most part, I don't ever turn off my switch of energy. So a lot of the times, I will, hold on one second. I'm just cooking dinner at the moment too, so I'm sorry, you're going to have to bear with me if anything beeps or whatnot. I'm going to check on it. It's baking at the moment. Anyways, my evening walk with my dog, I had to be really quick with him because I was running late to go to basketball because I signed up to play in a rec league, which I'd always looked upon, or when I went to the gym as a youngster, early 20s, or late teens, I would always see men playing basketball, or even in high school after practice, and guys would come out and play in the gym afterwards. I'd always seen these men's rec leagues and going, I'm going to be old when I play in one of those. And now I'm playing in one of those. So I guess, according to my earlier days, I am now an old man. Anyways, so I took him for a really short walk, and I promised him that if he was really good on his own, because he's been in training for separation anxiety, and he's getting really good at allowing me to leave the house and come back, and I would say 90% of the reviews that I have from my roommate or the people that live downstairs is that he has improved vastly. That he howls when I first leave, and he, is really loud when I come home just because he's excited to see me. But other than that, he's quiet. So anyways, I get home from basketball after playing the entire time because for the last 3 weeks, we've never had a full squad with subs. So whoever shows up has had to play the entire game the whole time. 40 minutes of runtime with like a 3-minute halftime and 2 timeouts, or 1 timeout each half. So in all honesty, we're running the entire time. So I get home and I'm pretty exhausted. And I look at my boy and I hear this glowing review from my roommate saying that he's done an impeccable job. And so I rewarded him with I would say, overall 2-hour walk. So we're talking about, I get home around 8:30, we finally get out the door at 9, and don't return home till 11. And in these 2 hours, my life changes completely. And I understand that there's ways for us to backslide after very monumental things, and that's happened to me a lot with writing, yet I still stick with it, so I am still destined to be a writer. I just need to actually start finishing some stuff. Well, I've sold a screenplay, so technically that should make me a writer. I'm not a successful writer by any means, but I am technically a writer. Anyways, let's move on. Within these 2 hours, it so far has changed my life for the better. So I start walking my dog, and probably about 50 minutes into our walk, I reach the more in-town part of where I live. It's not like I guess I live in the suburbs, but it's not like a quaint TV kind of suburbs. It's more of it's under a renaissance at the moment. It's still a little ghetto-y. But nonetheless, I'm roughly about 15 to 20 walking minutes from the more in-town area. And but we decided to go the long route, so it took 50 minutes to get to this corner. And as I'm waiting at this corner for the light to go, I see this homeless guy, or this guy walking up to me, and I'm like, oh God, this must be someone that's homeless. And The reason why I think that is because that area is notorious for homeless people. And I've never really, blinked twice at them at all. And whenever I see a homeless person, I talk to them. I make sure that at least their morale is up because I can't necessarily help them in any other way, which will come into play in this story. But I see this guy approaching, and I'm like, oh, F me. This guy's going to ask for cash, or he's going to ask for something, and it's going to bother me. And I'll get into the reason why it bothers me in a second. Let's just get to a little bit more of the story points. So this guy approaches me, and I see him, and immediately I just feel this overwhelming sensation that I have to help. And I start running through my head of going, okay, well, what can I do? Because this guy has come up, and he's asked me for money for a hotel room. And we all know the old adage that homeless people lie to get with other things that they want. But I chose at this moment in time to believe what this guy was saying. And so I look at him and I'm like, there's nothing I can do except for this. And I reach into my pocket, I pull out $1.30 in change, and I hand it to him. The $1.30 in change was for me to reward myself on doing well in basketball and just having a good day in general with candy at 7-Eleven. So I give him that. And it's all because I can't necessarily... One second. Hold on. I'm gonna have to get back to you guys. I gotta fix something with this dinner. Okay, we're back. So I am at this corner, and a man has just asked me for help to get a hotel room. Pretty much any money will help. It was the spiel. And so while I had a moment to reflect on that at the stoplight, because it hadn't gone, the little walking white man hadn't come on the screen to let me know that I could cross. So there I was with this man, and I'd just give him $1.30, and I'm thinking to myself, is there more I can do? And I start wringing my mind, and eventually it comes to the title of the, I hope, book that I write, something that I publish in some fashion or the other. But the title is, it's not just a hotel room. And the reason why it's not just a hotel room is because the man that was standing beside me had high-functioning Down syndrome. And it made me think, what happens the next night? And what happens the night after? And the night after, and the night after, and the night after. Because I could help him for the one night, but this guy, no matter what, has been dealt a semi-shitty hand. To no fault of his own. Just by shitty genetics, he has come into a body that was not properly formed. Into a mind, into a brain that wasn't properly formed for him. Not his fault. At least not on the physical realms. In more spiritual thoughts, if we do choose to come here on purpose for reasons and whatnot, then there may be a purpose on those realms of why this man, this being was in a body with Down syndrome. But to those that don't buy into that, they can look upon it as for no good reason at all. This man was born with Down syndrome and now is homeless and had the ability, thankfully, to ask for a hotel room. Now, there are circumstances where other people will take advantage of certain people. I've heard stories where drug dealers or just nefariously bad people will get in contact with easier controlled people like those with Down syndrome or some sort of mental handicap. And they will have them pander on the street for cash to bring it back to them. And that is so, so terrible that I am completely numb at any kind of feeling. It is that bad. And I don't necessarily know if this kid was in that situation or if he was just freshly homeless, because his clothes were still nice. But he handled himself with poise. So I don't know. But on the other side of it, what if he's not part of this gang? What if he's just a poor guy, probably in his early 20s, who's just found himself homeless? And to kick it up a notch, as if life wasn't shitty enough for this guy, he gets Down syndrome. And just on a side note to all you Christians out there, did this man deserve all of this? God must have had a reason for him, right? It is moments like that, and although I haven't been swayed from my beliefs, but it is moments like this that could probably turn anybody into not believing God exists. Because there should be no reason on this fucking planet. There's no reason for anybody on this fucking planet to be without shelter, to be without food, to be without companionship. Those three, a trinity. There should be no reason at all that anyone, let alone someone with high-functioning Down syndrome, should be out there without anything. 1 second. Gotta let that settle. Yeah. Okay. So, sorry. Yay, dinner's done. Well, sort of. It's gotta settle for like probably about 20 minutes. So, that's good. I get to talk about this a little bit more. But yeah, like it's a really shitty situation to be in on both ends. I gotta tell you. Because it's not as if I didn't leave that altercation feeling a little bit less of a good human being. I am such a fuck up in life. And I'm a fuck up out of choice. Because I don't want to play the game that will continuously lead us into bondage. And it is a choice that I suffer through on a day-to-day basis. Every dollar that I earn feels like I'm betraying something. So in order to feel good about myself internally, I have, chosen a place that doesn't cost so much. I limit my interactions with people because interactions cost money. I've lowered my expenses to under almost what most people that most people shouldn't live under. My food bill, just because I juice and want to eat healthy, but I had it at one point down to $15 a week. $60 a month. Because any more than that, and I don't know, I feel like I'd be wasting. And I'd also feel like that $60 increases the amount of money that just is out in circulation that's going to hurt people. Because the thing is that I have a completely 100% different relationship with money than most people on this planet. And whether you want to believe it or not, I can actually feel it. I can feel the negativity in the air that surrounds it. And there's people in the New Age movement that have this belief that money is just an energy source. And sure, it is. But the thing is that energy can be manipulated in two ways on this planet. And for the most part, hands down, unforgivingly, mankind has used energy for evil. No matter what. And right now, it's no different whether you want to believe it or not. Yes, we are not dropping atomic bombs on planets, and we are not torching people to death at this moment. But that's not necessarily true. We have been killing people in a senseless war for money for over 2 decades. Like, the war on the sand in the Middle East, Desert Storm, basically 1 and 2, or whatever you want to call it, has been going on since, like, I think 89 or 90. I was still a teenager. There's all these troops go to war. My parents were fucking terrified that maybe I'd get drafted. Maybe something bad would happen. And this war would last. You know, who would see that something like this, these little wars that should combine into one great war of the sand that will probably lead into a third world war. It's very possible. Something that is faked because the Second World War is faked just for some twisted, manipulated, getting off session of people. Anyways, where was I? With money. And the, like it's been, yeah, I mean, none of that really matters. But I feel it. Money may just be an energy, but that energy has been corrupted. And it's no good anymore, no matter what. It's been corrupted down to the very, very first piece of paper that happened to be an IOU for gold. It has gone all the way down to the moment that one person valued something over another thing that said, no, I don't want that. It's not even that they couldn't just give it for free. They felt like somebody owed them something in return. How is that for entitlement? How is that for entitlement? That what I own is better than what you own. Or not even better than what you own, but it's better than you as an individual, that you owe me something in return. How fucking mighty am I? Then you tell me that money has no intrinsic value, that it doesn't have, that it's just an energy source. It makes us primitive, and it makes us apes, and it keeps us with fucking spears, killing one another for land, for shit we should share. Fuck me. We should be sharing this with each other. But we don't. Instead, we believe that we need to be protected, that someone has convinced us that the boogeyman exists, and that the person next to you at the drop of a hat could fucking turn on you. And the thing is that they've been preaching that for a long time, not just recently. And what they have done, and they're getting successful at it, is medicating you to believe that something is wrong with you. And that you could turn on your neighbor at any time. And the thing is that they psychologically teach you this too. That if you can think it, they're thinking it too. They're thinking it too. And so you start building this story in your head, going, the whole fucking world at some point is going to turn on me. So I'm going to turn on it first. And we barricade ourselves away emotionally from people all the time. We are, for the most part, dead inside. And we need things to lift us out of it, like alcohol and drugs and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, I have an appreciation for certain drugs, but not to feel happy. It should never be a substitute for happiness, for joy, for love. But we have lost that. That right has been slowly but surely taken away from us. And it's time that we take it back. And I've gotten way off track from where I was to begin with. But it needed to be said. And it needs to have the light of day on the other end of just us realizing how utterly shitty we've allowed the world to become. And we do it with the simple lie of, it's always been that way. Congratulations, everybody. This is what you get. You don't get an amazing world that has been offered to you over generations. Like Tesla, for instance, who would have allowed us to live without wires, without being chained to something. Imagine your house right now being heated by some sort of electricity, like alternating current electricity that was safe and free. That your utility bills could be nothing. Nothing. That you could live in your house for free. For free. Because of one man. He could have allowed all of that. But because people didn't realize in time what was going on and didn't protect him, other people stripped it from him. And by doing so, took it from you too. And you should be pissed off about that. Every time that you pay your hydro bill, your gas bill, your cell phone bill, or your home phone bill, your cable bill, all your luxuries that are like that, every time that you make a payment to one of these companies, know that the reason you're doing that is because a right that you didn't know you had got taken away from you. It should piss you off. It should. It should really piss you off. It should make you want to take action. And stop being so afraid of what is out there. What can they do to you? Kill you? Fuck it, you're already dead. You just don't know it yet. It is a chance now to be alive. And in order to do that, we cannot be chained. And we put ourselves in prison. So it's time for us to bust out. And that's part of what the story is. Because as I was walking away from this guy on a main street in the middle of where I live, I broke down. I couldn't even consider myself as a good human being. I was the wretch of the planet. Because I couldn't help somebody out for the rest of their lives. And I knew that, and deep inside I just knew that so many people out there would side with me saying, that's not your job. You don't have to help someone for the rest of their lives. And it tore me apart because all of those people are wrong. Deaf wrong. Our job on this planet is not what we do. Our job on this planet is who we are. And what we were meant to do. We were meant to love one another. I don't understand how it's not evident enough. And love has no cost to it. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's fucking true, everybody. It has no inherent cost. It is priceless and unconditional. And those can only exist in a free environment. Where instead of something costing something, it is given freely to one another. If you choose to give it. Of course, if you have, let's say you have 8 plates, and you only have 4 family members, and somebody is new to the town and they need plates. If they ask you, and you feel like giving up because you can, and you know that if you ever broke a plate and you asked somebody else for a plate, they would give it to you, you could easily give up those 4 plates to these people. And you know what? You'd feel fucking amazing by doing it. Because there's something about giving that feels so good. And we don't do it enough. We so don't do it enough. And, sorry, I was watching traffic for a second. It happens. I learned something about myself with this story. I learned my purpose. I learned who I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to stand idly by and just let it all happen. I am a disruptor. I plant seeds. I help water. I shine light. And I help plants grow. The plants are ideas. They get planted inside, and hopefully, and I don't think that this is mind control. This is all your choice on whether or not you want to follow through with this. All I can do is plant the seed. You have to do the work. But the seed is being planted all the time now. And the seed that I'm planting is our evolution. Freedom from the bondage that we've allowed to have happen to us is our evolution to whatever that evolution is meant to be. And it happens when we look at each other as equals. That it happens when we start to share with each other openly and not caring and not having to have secrets and shit. We have a free society where everyone loves everybody. And it's not gay to think that way. Or it's not shunned upon, or it's not made fun of. Everybody understands that. This can happen. Trust me. I guarantee you it's happened on other planets. And this is how other planets become more advanced. You know, in theories on this planet, it's possible that that's how Atlantis happened. Do you want to create Atlantis on this planet? We can do it. But it doesn't start the way that it has right now. It starts by us starting to give of our time, our resources, no matter what. And it is time for us to allow receiving to come back without it being frowned upon. We can all live for free. It's not just a hotel room with that guy. He needs to live for free forever. And when you think about it, he's equal to us. So shouldn't that mean that we, all of us on this planet, deserve to live for free? To live for free? I think so. I really think so. And it's time that we start doing it. So I'll tell you what, I don't care who you are. I don't care where you've been. I just care where you want to go. If you want to come with me and create this new frontier, then get in contact with me. And let's make something happen. It's been 40 years, in a way, since true movement has shifted something on this planet. I say let's make this movement something equivalent to the goddamn Big Bang. Let's do something great. Something amazing. And let's give each other what we actually deserve. Freedom. Let's grow up. And let's evolve. Because it's time. So my contact information is there. You can hit me up on Twitter. You can go to my webpage. My email is on there, on my website. Not a lot of information is up there yet, but I'll continue to add to it. Most of my correspondence is going to be to people that message me, more than what I'm typing. I'm not going to have a lot of time. I'll be working on a book to get out that gives at least my point of view on how we can be free. It's not. It doesn't have to be the way that it happens. It's just a start. But that's how momentum happens. One push at a time. This is a push. And as more people come along and they push with us, we'll get there faster. I don't know how it's going to work. I just know it's possible, guys. And it's time. So contact me if you want to get this going. I'll be here. Thank you.